Never love a man more than he loves you. Never want a man more than he wants you. And certainly never desire a man more than he desires you. Get in here, get in here, get in here. Click like, click share. We're going to talk about one of the mistakes that you all make so often. And by you, I'm talking about feminine energy beings. I'm talking to you women. I'm talking to you folks out there where you love masculine energy. When you think about your ideal partner, you think about a masculine energy man. You think about a masculine energy being who's going to be able to protect you, provide for you, be able to care for you. One of the biggest mistakes that you do that draws them away from you, literally pushes them away, it's a repellent, is when you love them more than they love you. When you pursue them more than they pursue you. When you put more energy into them than they put into you. Let me tell you this right now, okay? The reason why so many of you all struggle to find masculine energy men is because you're choosing men who you are deeply attracted to. You're choosing men who ultimately you want them more than they want you. You're choosing beauty queens, then you question why they act like one. You're choosing men who are seen as the prize in everyone's eyes, and then you wonder why he doesn't treat you like you're the prize. Listen to me close when I tell you this right now. When it comes to masculine energy, when it comes to men, they have to see you as someone who is just a little bit out of their league. They have to see you as someone where they feel lucky, where they feel fortunate, where they feel blessed to be with you. They have to see you as someone who they have to work hard to keep, and that they know that if you were to leave them today, you could find someone else. And the way that you do this is that it starts by reevaluating your type. I'm not saying that you should not be with a man who you're attracted to. But what I am saying is at that moment where you start to feel sprung, where you're reaching out to him more, where you're checking your phone, has he called me back yet? Where you're reaching out to him to plan a date because if you don't reach out, you fear he won't reach out. When you're putting more work into him than he's putting into you, at that point in time, baby, it's time to pull back. It is time to recalibrate. Even if you want that man more than he wants you, or if you feel like you love him more than he loves you, you can never let it show. Some people want to say, oh, this sounds like a game, MJ. This sounds like manipulation. MJ, if I got to do all that, I just don't want to date at all. Well, then you shouldn't date. I'm teaching you the reality of how to protect yourself. I'm not trying to teach you how to get boots, bags, and bangles. If you want that, then go for it. But what I'm teaching you is literally how do you get in a man's head to establish the dynamic that you want me more than I want you. And therefore, you should feel lucky to have me. Let me tell you how you do that, okay? First of all, it starts out with what is the dynamic that's in place when you first start communicating with each other. I've talked about this multiple times and I cannot reiterate it enough. When you are dating someone new, exchanging phone numbers, whatever it may be, you cannot be the person who reaches out more. Absolutely not. You cannot be the person who's planning dates. Absolutely not. When he pulls back or he slows down, even when it feels like, is he ghosting me or not? You absolutely cannot be the person to check on him and say, hey, what's going on? Just ask him what's going on. Hey, I haven't heard from you. How you been, stranger? You give your power away. The moment that you start showing that man that you're more into him than he's into you, he's going to start believing it and he's going to start operating like that. Not because he's a bad person. Not because he's trying to play you. And certainly not because he's not masculine. He's going to start operating like that because it's easier. As human beings, masculine or feminine, we gravitate towards things that feel easier. So it's much easier to be with a beautiful woman, a beautiful feminine energy being who pursues him, who makes him feel desired, who always makes him feel special. It's much easier to be with that than it is to be with someone who actually makes him pull out his masculinity and pursue. And the reality is this: if he is a true masculine energy being, then his natural state is pursuit. His natural reward on a primal level is when he can conquer whatever he's pursuing. So when you take away the thing that is most natural to him, you're going to deal with a part of him that's not going to be very natural, and it's not going to feel very good. The way that you get this man to see that he loves you more than you love him is that you always, always, always are very conscious of making sure of two things. First of all, that you never reveal your emotions to him before he reveals his emotions to you. What do I mean by that? You should never be the one to say, I love you first. And if he tells you he loves you and you're not ready to say it yet, then don't. Don't. If he says, baby, I know it's only been 2 months, but I think I'm falling in love with you. I love you. Oh, darling, don't you lean into this. I should say it back. I don't want to make him feel bad. Honey, when these men ghost you, they don't care about making you feel bad. When they leave you waiting, they're not worried about making you feel bad. When you're chasing them, they're not worried about your feelings. So you don't have to say anything if you don't feel it yet. What you do is you lean in towards him and you say, that feels so good to hear. What do you love about me, baby? What do you love about me? I mean, I love you the way you are. I love your femininity. I love your softness. I love you this. I love that. I love that. Ba 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 ba. Well, I have to tell you, baby, it makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so loved to hear that from you. And for me, what I know is you're definitely the type of guy that I could fall in love with also. And I'm just looking forward to continuing to learn more about you and experience you more so that I can fully just have that dream become a reality. Did we lie? Did we say I love you too? Did we lie? No. Did we leverage that moment of vulnerability so that we can establish a dynamic or re-solidify a dynamic that acknowledges, I appreciate your feelings, but you're still earning mine? Absolutely. You need to be conscious of never allowing him to get access to any emotional space before he has earned it. This is not manipulation. This is not mind games. This is authenticity. Authenticity is never saying something before you mean it. Authenticity and vulnerability are so important. But you know what they are when you give them a space or give them to a person who hasn't earned it yet? They're a weapon that can be used against you. That's why so many of you all are afraid of being vulnerable today. Because you gave someone your vulnerability before they deserved it. There was nothing wrong with your vulnerability, but you gave it to someone before they deserved it. And what I'm telling you is not to hold back your feelings just to have power. I mean, you can do that and it certainly will manipulate him. But I'm not here to teach you manipulation. What I'm here to teach you is that if he is the man, if he's the masculine energy being that you're in a relationship with or that you desire to be in a relationship with, then empower him to operate as a man. Give him the space to operate as a man. And how are you giving him the space to operate as a man? Think about this. If you're not letting him take the lead emotionally. Think about that. If you're the one who's proposing dates, you're not giving him the space to operate as a man. And then you get upset when he doesn't see you as a woman, when he doesn't treat you based on your femininity. When you're the one who's expressing emotions first, I really like you. It doesn't have to be love. I really like you so much. Before he's done all that. I don't know. You seem real masculine to me, young lady. What I'm saying is give that man the space and the motivation to be a man. Call him to task to be a man. And the way that we call a man to task using our feminine energy is we don't tell them what to do. We don't say, I need you to show me your feelings first, and then once you show me, I'll show you mine. No. We simply give him femininity, give him softness, give him receptiveness and openness to receive his emotions. So what does that mean? When he asks us out, we go. If we're available, of course. When he reaches out to us, we reach back out to him. Not too quickly, but we reach out, and when we do, we're excited to hear from him. We're open and receptive. We create a space for him where we magnetize him to give us his emotions. When he's around us, we make him feel so desired. We make him feel like a king. When you see him and you haven't seen him in a couple days or a couple weeks, you give him the biggest hug ever. And of course, you're wearing the favorite perfume that he always compliments. Of course, you're dressed beautifully. Of course, you are making sure that you show yourself in the most complimentary tones and in the most complimentary fabrics for your unique shape. You make sure you take care of yourself so you're always presenting him with something that is very, very beautiful, and that's something that's desirable in his eyes. When he talks, you listen and you adore his every word. You make him feel like a king. You encourage him. You root for him. You become an indispensable part of his life. When he talks to you, he should feel so warm, like, oh my God, you make me feel like I can do anything. Right? That's what we do to invite in the love, invite in the feelings, invite it in. Right? We don't have to say anything. We're giving him an experience that makes him feel amazing. And then through giving him that experience that makes him feel amazing, he is going to fall deeply for you, if he's emotionally available to do so. And then when he falls deeply for you, that's when he can then say, there's just something about you. Y'all know what I'm talking about? We all know that feelings, ladies. Don't we know that moment where he wants to say, I love you, but he's just not sure if he can say it yet? When he's just looking you in the eyes like this, just like, and you know what he's thinking. You know what he's thinking. You just sit there and you smile. And you say, what? Why are you looking at me like that? You get where I'm going with this, ladies? You create an environment that pulls it out of them, okay? Another factor in making sure that you never, ever love him more than he loves you, or desire him more than he desires you, is by making sure that you always have options. You have to have options. I've said this before, and that's why I can't say it enough. You have to have options. You have to have other people that you are dealing with or talking to. You should never be just focused on him. Some people say, well, MJ, when I like a guy, I focus just on him. How's that worked out for you? How's that worked out for you? Has it gotten you your Prince Charming? Has it? Oh, it hasn't worked yet? Then why are you so committed to continue to do the same thing? I'm not saying you have to be close with everybody, but I am saying that every week that you want to date with him, there should be at least one other person you're going on a date with. I am saying you may not love online dating, but you should have a profile on there so that you're at least keeping yourself out there just a little bit. Those places, and maybe you're not an online dater, those places that you go to and that you like to socialize in where people get to see you, You should be going to those places. I don't care how incredible this man makes you feel. Until he's your man and committed to you, you are still available. And this is another thing that keeps your desirability high, so that he desires you more, is when he's always with this competition that exists. But you know what the deeper thing is? Oh, you said, MJ, we need to talk ASAP. Well, click the link that's directly above or below this video, or the link that's on my social media pages, so that you can schedule a one-on-one coaching call with me. I have a couple sessions open a week. I love talking to you. All my clients are all over the world. I'm happy to do a one-on-one call with you. Just go ahead and click the link and schedule time with me. But you know another thing that really, really, really sets the stage for having a man who's going to love you more than you love him, who's going to want you more, who's going to be pursuing you even after he gets you. And some of y'all are not at a stage of maturity to hear this, but the grown women are. Stop picking the men that everyone else wants. Stop. When you look at that man, his profile picture, you see him wherever, if it's a bunch of other women chasing after him, you don't want him, baby. You don't want him. You don't want me. You don't want that man. Trust me when I say that. You don't want that man. Because number one, the kind of man who's very accustomed to being chased and pursued and desired, generally speaking, they're not great at commitment because they're always aware that they can leave. Generally speaking, they usually are not very emotionally intelligent. Just got to put it out there. They're just not. Because they don't ever really have to work through anything with anybody because they're always aware that they can leave. They're always aware that they can leave. When a man is aware he can leave at any point in time and be fine, he doesn't have to work through anything. They normally have very poor introspective skills to be able to work through things to determine, was I wrong? Was I right? How do I work through processing information? They normally are not very good at that either. Why? Because they don't have to. When you're the one that everyone wants, very few people actually call you out because people are more concerned about keeping you than holding you accountable. These are skills that they don't develop. The only time that I would say those types of men develop those skills is when it was a man who was very unattractive and very undesirable earlier in his life, and then he had some kind of level up later in life. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he was hitting the gym. Maybe he changed his look about himself. He did something where he truly leveled up and became desirable. Right? Later in life. Because then he had those foundation years, those years before 30, for example, where he was able to experience the world as a man who had to work for affection, who had to work for commitment. And so therefore, in his formative years, he was able to really develop emotionally. And therefore, even though he leveled up aesthetically, his core and his soul is a man who knows how to be a healthy contributor to a relationship. And even then, it's still dicey because men are very good at, when they step into a new space, forgetting where they were at before. I have a belief that the only people who should be looking for trophies are men who are willing to pay for them. As a woman, as a feminine energy being, you are not here to look for a trophy. You are not here to get with your Instagram crush. You're not here to get with the one that everyone else wants. That's not what you're here to do. Nope. You're here to choose the type of men who choose you. That doesn't mean that everyone who wants you, you need to want. But here's the thing. Unless a man deeply desires you and sees you as the prize, he will never love you more than you love him. Ever. Ever. And how it starts is how it stays. So if the starting dynamic in your relationship with this man or your interactions with this man was that you desired him more than he desired you, then ultimately that will transform into you loving him more than he loves you. It will never turn around. Ever. Ever. It will always be that way. Your best hope is that he has a moral compass enough not to take advantage of the fact that he knows you love him more than he loves you. That's your best hope. I want you to think about what type of man out there truly will cherish you, truly will love you, truly will see you as a prize, and if he has to move heaven and earth to have you, he will do it. That's your real type. These other men are just pretty distractions. That's your real type. For me, I discovered my type years ago. And I did. Now, of course, when I was younger, you know, let me get my hair together. Needs a little volume. Of course, when I was younger, I did like a lot of us young silly gals do. I picked men based on attraction. They were exciting. But you know, when I think about it, even today, for the special part of my life today, you know who's always worked out really well for me, and that's why at this point in my life, that's the only type I'm willing to date and be with, even now. Give me a nerd. I know some of y'all here, they're like, what? I want a nerd. Honey, I need you to be super smart. Because when you're super smart, you appreciate my intelligence. You appreciate it. You love it. When you're super smart, financially, you're always going to be fine. Always. An intelligent man is rarely a broke man. And if he is broke, he's not going to be broke long. When you're an intelligent man, you can process through complex ideas and complex information. So if we're in an exchange and we're kind of not seeing eye to eye, you can process it. You can be introspective. When you're a nerd, you probably weren't pursued very much in your younger years. It wasn't until you probably got older and got a little couple coins in your pocket that people actually started coming after you. That's my type. I love them. For some of you beautiful, tall queens out there, you know who might value you, and I know y'all don't want to hear this. A short king. Now, not tiny, but maybe he's not going to tower over you at 6'5". Maybe he's just your height. Maybe you can't wear heels with him every time. He's going to see you as a prize. You need a man where when he looks at you, he's a little intimidated by you. So many women tell me, they say, I just feel like so many men are intimidated by me. That's a good thing. Would you rather be the other way around? Would you rather be the other way around? When I was dating, I used to love when I go on a first date with a guy and I come in and I sit down because, of course, I'm just a little bit late. You got to be a little bit late, right? Coming a little bit late, I smell amazing. I will own that for myself. People always tell me, they say, I can smell you when you've walked down the hallway. Like the people who work in my building, they'll say, I know when you've walked down the hallway because we can always smell you. You smell amazing, right? So when I come in, I smell amazing. A little bit late so you can see me walk in. And I come in, I never rush, ever rush. I never rush. But I come in, I am so sorry. Thank you for waiting for me. You look amazing. Oh my goodness. I'm going to give you a big old hug and everything like that. Oh my goodness. And go over to that seat and you want to walk around the table in just a way so you can see all sides of you. Okay? And I sit down. And I'm good. Hey, okay, how you doing? See, some of y'all get intimidated by that. You be thinking, what's wrong with him? He not too talkative. Why he acting like that? Darling, he's intimidated the way it's supposed to be. The laws of nature are working, darling. As I sit there and as he's acting all nervous, I'm looking at the menu just like this, just like this, just like this. Have you ordered anything yet? What did you get? That looks so delicious. I think I want that. What would you recommend for me? Recommend something for me. I think you look like you pick out good things. You look amazing. I like it. I love it. Your intimidation means that you feel like I'm a little bit out of your league. Your awkwardness means that you're in a space that's uncharted, which means that you're not going to be able to work me over. Be careful with those men where it seems like they just smooth operators. Where it's like, dang, he's so quick on his feet, he can talk to you any old kind of way. We're supposed to be quick on our feet, not them. He should be nervous around you. At least in the beginning. That's my type. You got to pick what works out for you, ladies. But what I am telling you is this. If you want to set yourself up to be used, abused, and to be put in a position to chase a man, choose a man that you want more than he wants you. And some of you all say, well, MJ, I'm in a relationship right now. How do I reset this? I feel like I have to reset this. I feel like I've been doing the wrong things up to this point. How do I reset this? Maybe we've been dating for 6 weeks. Maybe it's been 6 years. I don't know. How do I reset this? That's easy, baby. Because what this is all about is energy exchange. And the way that we reset energy exchange is to stop exchanging the energy that we don't want to exchange and to start exchanging the energy that we do want to exchange. I know some of y'all are tired and you feel like this is more work. It's really not. What I'm teaching you is how to do it the easier approach. People say, oh, this feels like so much work. If I got to do all this, I don't want to do it. Isn't it work chasing after that man? Huh? Isn't it work chasing after that man? Isn't it work waiting on him to text you? Isn't it work always wondering if he wants you as much as you want him? Isn't that work? What I'm telling you is a much easier approach. Choose the men who want you more than you want them. And the way that we lean into this is we think about our past a little bit. We think about historically, when I go out into the world, when I walk down the street, when I'm at the places I go to, what type of men generally give me more attention? For some of you ladies, it may be a more seasoned man. Maybe it's a guy who's 10 years older than you. You say, I don't want to have to date an older man. I want a guy my age, blah, blah, blah. The men your age are not mature enough to be able to appreciate the type of vintage wine that you are. You're a special variety, baby. You're a special blend. And some of these men just cannot emotionally afford you just yet. You have to accept that reality. They may be fun, but they really can't. So maybe for you, the kind of men that give you more attention, who really value more, maybe they're a little bit older. Maybe they're the nerds. Maybe they're the men who, when you look at them, you're like, he's successful, he's all that kind of stuff, but I don't know, he just don't look like my type. Well, hold on. If your type was your type, why are you not with your type now? If your type was so right. You worried about that man being pretty. But here's the thing I'm here to tell you. If he got good common sense, got some money, and he wants you enough, baby, that man will be going to the barbershop with you by the next week to get his hair cut the right way, the way you want it done. And we can talk about how to get men to change the way they look, honey. That's easy, honey. I can do a master class on that. A man can buy new clothes. You see what I'm saying? So to me, maybe the guys who look at you most, they're successful, but maybe they're not the most handsome. But you know who are some of the happiest women I ever see out there? I was thinking about this the other day. I was at the shopping mall that's near my home here. And it's a nice mall, pretty affluent mall. And there was a woman walking through the mall. She had this Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. It's a dog, look it up. One of the most expensive dogs out there. She had her 2 children with her, a boy and a girl. They probably looked like they were about 7 years old and 9 years old. The boy was wearing a soccer outfit. The girl was wearing her clothes like she came from school. The woman, thin, beautiful, probably around in her late 30s, early 40s. So at that age, to be that thin and to look like that, she's got to have time in her day to maintain that. Because as we know, as we get older, our bodies change. It is what it is, right? So clearly, this does not look like a woman who works. You can tell if a woman works, and I'm like, she don't look like she works. But let me tell you what told me that she doesn't have to work. That ring on her finger. I don't know if her husband's the richest man on earth, but I know that he certainly invested to make sure that she was walking around in a way where she could show herself as a woman who's with a man who truly values her in that way. So I was wondering, who is she with? What kind of man is she with? Because I'm nosy. I saw her walking around, and she stops at like the little pretzel stand to get her son a pretzel. And she's paying for it, and then as she's doing this, a guy comes up, her husband, and he says, oh, I'm done now. We can go. I guess he had grabbed something from the store, and I looked at him. She was so happy to see him. The kids were happy. The dog is jumping up on Adam, like so happy to see him. Would I call this man an extremely handsome man? No. He wasn't ugly. He certainly wasn't like a supermodel. He wasn't the thinnest, but he looks like he may see the gym about 2 to 3 times a week. Cool. He had a couple pieces of salt and pepper gray hair. But he could have been just a little bit older than her. He didn't have to be that much older. For all I know, her hair was dyed. But what I did notice about him, because I can smell money a mile away, his shoes, expensive. His pants, expensive. His shirt, custom. His watch, that's somebody's mortgage payment. And I've noticed that women who tend to be in relationships with men who are protectors, providers, and generally relationships that last a lot longer, usually are with men where she's the more attractive one. I don't know what to tell you about that. She's normally the more attractive one. And even though on paper he may have more money, more this, more whatever it may be, she clearly is perceived as the prize in his eyes. I'm not here to tell you to go after men who have money. I'm not here to tell you that. That may not be your vision for your life. And it's certainly not necessary for happiness. If that's what you want, then do it. What I'm here to say is that unless a man sees you as his prize from day one, unless a man treats you as the one that he cherishes from day one, unless a man is putting in the energy to make it clear that I want you, then he is not your type. I don't care how tall he is or how short he is. If he is not putting in that energy, then he cannot afford you emotionally. He needs to be planning dates. Even if he's busy. I don't care if the dates are once every 2 weeks because he's so busy. He needs to be the one planning them and ask you to do them. He needs to be the one reaching out consistently. That doesn't mean you can't reach back out to him, but he needs to be the one doing it. He needs to be making it abundantly clear that you're his person, that he wants. And he needs to be making that so clear that you never have to guess otherwise. Let me tell you a little secret. This whole thing of I need to be head over heels from him for day one. I need to feel the butterflies in my stomach. I need to feel that feeling. You know who says that the most? Single women who stay single. That's the ones who think that way. You chasing a feeling rather than chasing a dynamic. There's a difference. Feelings change, but dynamics are a foundation for building great relationships on top of. I don't like him I don't feel this. I just don't feel this. I don't feel it. When I think of him, I don't feel. Feelings are not fact, baby. And if your feelings are so accurate, again, I ask you, where are all those men from the past that you felt this same way about? Ghosting you, cheating on you, lying on you with somebody else that they value more than you because they forced them to, you get it? They found women who he wants more than she wants him, and therefore it forces him to show up. You should be repelled from men who don't want you as much as you want them. When you have to question, does he want me as much as I want him? I don't know. I kind of feel like I like him more. Have your instincts been wrong in the past? Then they're probably right now. You do want him more. And that's a problem. You see, what am I supposed to do to reset that? Well, we can't manufacture desire. But what we can do is pull back so the desire can reveal itself if it's there. Pull back. This is a great time to go dating someone else, get into some other activities and do some other things so you can stop reaching out as frequently. Reach out. Don't reach out anymore. Stop reaching out. You don't talk to him until you hear from him. You know me the one saying, hey, what are you doing this weekend? You stop. But he's going to feel it's weird. He's going to feel like something's off. Something's already off, baby. You want this man more than he wants you? Something's already off. What do you mean? You've got a relationship nuclear reactor about to explode, darling. You got to pull the emergency switch or whatever we want to call it. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. You just seem like a good example. It's already off. Pull back. The only type of people who will say this is manipulative or bad are the men who want you to chase them. And you don't want those ladies anyway. You pull back. You find other things to do. And when he says, I ain't heard from you, where you been? I feel like you kind of pull back on me. Oh, no, life has been so busy, but I'd love to hear from you. No, life has just been so busy, but I'd love to hear from you. You see how we just turned that around on him? Now, some people say you gaslighting him, whatever. But I'd love to hear from you. Baby, whenever you think of me, just call me. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see you also. You see what we're doing there? We're inviting him in. We're inviting him in. We're inviting him in. But let me tell you who you will never have to do this with. A man who wanted you more than you wanted him from day one. See, here's the thing. I can teach you how to correct the dynamic if it's correctable. But you know what's much better? A dynamic that starts the right way from jump. You say, what about when a man says he's the prize? Well, darling, you go find your prettiest gay single friend and you invite him to you introduce him to him. Actually, no, not your prettiest gay friend. You want to find your most masculine gay friend. You need to find someone who's looking for a prize. Because only masculine energy is looking for a prize. So you introduce him to his husband. And at their ceremony, when they're exchanging vows, you go up and give your speech to say, you're so happy that you introduced these two wonderful men. And this one in particular, you helped him find his man who could cherish him. Real men don't want to be the prize, baby. Real men want to cherish. You hear what I'm saying? When I say real men, I'm talking about masculine energy men. That's not to say that feminine energy men are not real men. I'm a feminine energy man, and trust me, I'm real all the way through. But when I'm talking about real men, I'm talking about the men that you really want. That's the real I'm talking about. If he acts like he's the prize, it's because he thinks he's the prize. You need to release him so that he can go find someone who feels the same way. But if you know that you're the prize and you want to be treated as such, then it only will work for you to put yourself in relationships with men. And only work for you to even date and exchange phone numbers with men who see you as the prize. That is the ultimate litmus test. It is the filter that you have to run everyone through first. Is he pursuing me? But for some of you all, that's going to take a mindset switch for you. Because you are so accustomed to dealing with men that you got to lightweight pursue. That you got to wonder about, you got to guess about. That being pursued feels foreign to you. And so when someone does pursue you, you think, ooh, what's wrong with him? He just is too much. He's too thirsty. No, he's not thirsty. He just desires you. He's not thirsty. He's a pursuer. He doesn't want you too much. He wants you at the level that you deserve to be desired. You need to learn to become accustomed to and become comfortable with what it feels like to be desired. That's the difference between you and the woman who's with a man who's taking great care of her, who treats her amazing, who treats her like a prize. Is she knows what it feels like to be desired, so she will only be with men who treat her that way. And if a man doesn't treat her that way, she would rather be single for the next 6 months or 9 months until she meets that kind of man, rather than just dating people in the meantime to fill the space. I would rather you be single while you position yourself for a man who truly desires you than to waste your time chasing after someone. Because when you're wasting your time chasing after men who require you to pursue them or put all that energy into them, what you're doing is, because see, our minds don't know the difference between good and bad. Our minds only know that reality is whatever I'm focused on. That's why people who have really good lives, who believe they deserve good lives, even if you take everything away from them, they can recreate a good life. But there are some people out here who seem to always find themselves in a bad position. It's because that's what they're focused on. And so they will always seek out people and experiences to create a bad situation. If your mind can only be focused on what you deserve, then your mind will believe that that's all you deserve. But if your mind is sitting up here entertaining Men who don't value you. Men who make you chase them. Men who give you emotional highs and then extreme lows because you go from feeling really, really wanted to feeling ignored and overlooked. Then your mind's going to believe that's all you deserve. And then subconsciously, your mind will only be attracted to that type of man. And you'll think that's my type. I like a laid back type. That's the biggest myth out here. I like a laid back kind of man. No, you like a man that you got to pursue and you got to guess about his emotions. You don't want a laid back man. You want a man who is enthusiastic about expressing his feelings towards you. You want a man where when he's coming home from work and he stopped at the traffic light and they walk up to him saying, hey, you want to buy some roses? And he says, yeah, let me get some for my baby. I don't know about you, but that's what I like. We've been here for a little bit. I didn't even put them in there. I got 2 of them in here. I was like, I don't have enough vases for these things. Anyway, I'm just going to dry them out and do something else with it. That's the kind of man you want. He's always thinking about you. He can be the most masculine man on earth, but when he's in your presence, he's like putty. Hey, baby. Hey. That's the kind of man you deserve. And so when you only allow yourself to date that type of man and be with that type of man, even entertaining that type of man, you're conditioning your mind to see how it feels. And you're conditioning your mind to know that that's what you deserve at all times. Listen to me, darlings, when I tell you this right now. Never love a man more than he loves you. Never desire a man more than he desires you. And definitely never put more energy into a man than he puts into you. If you like this message, go ahead and get my book. It's a bestseller already. It's called Get Out of Your Own Way, A Guide to Letting Go of the Stuff That's Holding You Back. It's available where books are sold. Just look up my name, MJ Harris, and you'll see it. It's the gold book. And of course, if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one session with me, go ahead and book it while the sessions exist. I don't know how many remaining sessions I have for next week, but I can see people are already booking them. So book your session quickly. All right? You can use the link that's directly above or below this video or the link that's on my social media pages to book your session now. I'll see you soon.